Well, this time out we're going to talk more about car setup and just sort of tell the story of the 1M. Obviously, when I bought it, I ran it, and it was fast, and I won Dixie in it, and then I won one of the Pro Solos there at Blytheville in it. And everybody told me, hey, if you're going to have a chance at Nationals, you're going to have to put some money in the car. So I bought shocks, I bought bars, I bought wheels, tires, all that stuff that's you're supposed to do, and kind of spitballed an alignment together, and the car just kept getting slower. The more money I put in it, the slower it lasts. I'm probably 6 seconds off the pace at Nationals that year, and gave up on the car and walked away. And I think a lot of people do that with the unknown cars for the class. Like, they don't spend time developing the car because somebody told them it couldn't win. And everybody told us that this car couldn't win and wouldn't win. And rightfully so. I mean, that wasn't bad advice, it was the truth. So when we started tearing the car apart to see what we needed to do, we had 3 blown Coney shocks that Jeremy had managed to get the last trophy spot, 13th at Nationals, the first year we ran it together on 19-inch wheels. And we tore the car apart after that. We bought some double adjustables that were, going to work. And then we moved down in wheel size to get some torque to some 18s. And we experimented with a lot of tires, man. We put a ton of money in different brand, different size tires. But eventually, we sort of settled in on a 275, 285 RE71 from Bridgestone. And then we started playing with camber, with toe, with spacers. And what we found with the spacers was 1 or 2 millimeters at either end of the car could dramatically change the way the car handled. So by the time we started running it the next year, we did not have a fully sorted automobile, but the car was naturally faster just out of the hole, like on a mid-range punch, where from 20 miles an hour to 45 miles an hour, we were just faster than everything else in the field. That was the car's strength. So when we set goals, we didn't figure we could win on a real autocross course against the Corvettes. We felt like, well, on a 25, 30-second Pro Solo course, we can get them at the front, and then if there is a torque corner, we can stay ahead. And that's kind of what happened the first year out with that plan. We ran the car, we won on those short courses, kind of like a NASCAR on a short track. They're specialists. I just figured that was where we were, and we would get beat at the tours despite, Jeremy winning. I didn't know that we were running against anybody that really stood a chance to win at Nationals around there locally. So as we got further and further along, and we won the Pro that year, and there were a couple of torque corners that really favored us. I felt like when it came time for the actual tour, we did some amateur hour racing because we could have won that too, and we had not really tested cold weather setups, and the second day was a lot colder, and we didn't soften things up, and we didn't know what to do. And that's why testing is so important, and you've got to do a lot of it, because year 3 we had a cold weather setup. We were ready to rumble if it was cold pace enough that especially if it was just kind of damp. I guess in a straight up rain, the 4-wheel drive cars, we pretty much felt like they would win. But my point here is you got to do a lot of testing and a lot of development to make a car a winner. And I still feel like most any car that is in a class can be competitive or better in the class if somebody takes the time to sort it out. That's not the typical way of autocross, so typically there's a known car for the class, a known setup for the class, everybody can mimic that, but then the testing stops. The C5s in our class, I don't think were really dead 2 years ago or even a year ago, but nobody was, you know, I couldn't read on a forum where people were trying different wheel sizes, different widths of tires, different brands of tires, different alignments to see what they could do to improve the car. When people stop developing, other things start catching up. I mean, we were not, I don't think that car should have ever won the 1M, but we had a lot of time and had enough cash to throw at it until we could find a winning combination. I think that anybody could have done it, though, would be my point. And if you're mid-pack or just starting off, I think that you'll be able to develop most any car into a winner, at least locally, if you take the time to test it some. But you will not be able to test a car showing up at an autocross and driving 6 minutes spread out over 6-7 hours in a day. You've got to get with some people that are like-minded, that are willing to rent a parking lot somewhere. It doesn't have to be a big parking lot. The test track for us, I think, is about 25 seconds, and it's got some offsets, 2 sweepers, and a long slalom, which is enough to test all the characteristics of the car. So just because somebody says that it won't win doesn't mean that it can't win.